couple, attractive looking couple. One of them is a sailor for the Royal Navy, and he says he knows stuff that he can't talk about. That would freak people out. Earth is not a spinning ball. We've been lied to. NASA's fake. NASA fake space. Oh, Nathan, you were first. Welcome back. Earth is flat, not a spinning ball. Earth is not a globe. Earth is flat. Sea is level. Earth is flat, not a spinning ball. Earth is flat. We don't evolve from monkeys. Earth is flat. Earth is flat. Welcome back. Just going the stream. Somehow the last stream just I've pushed the wrong button or something. It just ended. So Earth is not a spinning ball. We've been lied to by NASA and the government. Earth is flat, guys. Earth is not a spinning ball. Hey man, can I give you some info? Alright, Earth is not a spinning ball. We don't evolve from monkeys. You can't prove it, we live on a ball. Can't prove it. You got to believe it because you've seen it on TV. We are the center of creation, not evolved.
I'm with you.
Alright bro, take my flight. Have a nice day. Cheers. You see that more and more. Earth is not a spinning ball. We've been lied to about where we live and who we are. Find out more. Find out more. Thanks bro, nice to see you again bro. I need to put this on.
Dad, wasn't there only two?
We can't prove that water's doing anything but going level. You know that. Water's always going to find level. Sea level.
Right, it's fine.
The Earth is flat. Earth is not a spinning globe. Take some info. I think the lady said my mind is flat. Earth is not flat, your mind is flat. Well, thanks for joining us. Or me, I should say. Guys, Earth is not a spinning ball. We don't evolve from apes. We are the center of creation. Hard to believe, but NASA faked space, faked the moon landings, International Space Station, make you believe that gravity is a thing. Don't care. Okay. Get that opinion as well. Earth is flat, we don't evolve from monkeys, mate. Earth is created perfect, flat, unmoving. There's no science that proves that Earth is spinning. No experiment to prove that Earth is spinning. Earth is flat, sir. Like the sea. It's all level. Sea level. See why? Some information, guys. We've been lied to about who we are and where we are. Earth is flat. We are the center of creation. Personal freedom, eh? By the way, personal freedom comes from not necessarily this whole plane of people working it out before it's too late or whatever. my lifetime, and you know, but definitely I can make a difference to myself. Did you know we are the center of creation and we didn't evolve from monkeys? Did you know that?
No, I did.
Do you think we believe we evolved from monkeys?
Yeah, I did.
I used to believe that. I was an atheist 8 years ago. I believed that we came from monkeys.
What, are you like a Christian?
No, but I am spiritual. I think that there is a God, and that God exists in us. That we're the expression of that God, each of us.
What, so how do you think the world was created if you don't think it's monkeys?
Well, Big Bang is also a Christian belief, by the way, or it's a Catholic belief, because it was a Catholic that invented the Big Bang.
Oh, okay,
And
cool.
everything coming from nothing, that's a belief, eh?
Yeah. No, I
Everything
think
comes from
something happened, but
So,
not
yeah,
what.
take my flyer.
Thank you, thank
All right,
you.
have a nice day.
Bye.
Earth is flat, guys, not a globe. Let's zoom in. Earth is flat. Guys, I got some information for you. We are the center of creation, not evolved apes. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Some information for you guys?
No. What is it about?
About us being the center of creation. No, we didn't evolve from apes. You never know. Maybe it works. Maybe some information they see, think about. Not this time, maybe the next time. Hey man, we are the center of creation. God is within each of us. Did you know that? We are God incarnated as man and woman. I don't mean that to demean what people believe about God being everything and all. But I think we are a microscopic version of the all. We are simile but small. And we are able to get up and walk around because of this physicality that we carry, the musculature that we have. We can do things. Hey guys, Earth is not a globe. NASA fake space. Earth is not a globe. Earth is flat.
It's not right.
There's one sea level.
It's a circle.
A circle maybe, but not a ball. A circle that we can walk around the circle, but we can't walk under a ball. And because of gravity, and gravity is a theory.
If you just keep on walking that way, you'll just fall there.
No, there's no edge. We don't know that there's an edge. Maybe it's infinite plane.
People go to space.
People go into space.
I've had enough.
Me and you can't go to space.
You need to go.
See how the youngsters are quite strident in their belief, in their certainty. But these youngsters have had far more glow programming than I got as a kid, because you know, you see it on so many movies and Disney's and all of that. Hi, I got some information for you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, yeah.
Hi. A lot of people use those nowadays. They're quite fast if someone gets whacked by them. Hello folks. You know that God is within us? That we are God's creation? We are the center of creation, not some evolved ape that happens to be in a Goldilocks zone of a Big Bang. Did you know the Big Bang was invented by a Catholic priest? Big Bang theory? A Catholic priest called George Lemaitre. He came up with this Big Bang idea that everything comes from nothing. When we think that God, or whatever God is, intended to create an earth for us to inhabit and experience itself.
Yes,
How does that sound to you, man?
I never question God's actions.
Yeah. But what about man? Do you question man's
Oh,
actions?
yes.
Yes. Well, man can do terrible things to man, and we have done through warfare and all other sorts of propagandization of the mind to pit one man against another man, or a man against a woman, or a country against another. That we see all the time, and we believe today, that science that you can't test but you have to believe in, the theoretical science, is no different to theological science of believing in some savior, rather than knowing that God is within you and you are your own savior. And if you're going to save anyone who's going to save you, it's going to be yourself. Only you put your head down on your pillow at night and talk to yourself. And we believe that you are the center, you are God's expression. I believe that you are God's expression. But that's hidden by religion, and that's hidden by a science that says we came from monkeys. A science that says a big bang, an explosion just happened, and billions of years later everything cooled down enough for us to live on it. And slime came out of the ocean as fish became marsupials, and then they became monkeys and became man. That is not a God intending to create us perfect. And I believe we were created perfect.
God is watching us with all the troubles.
Well, eventually these troubles will catch up with us, hey? And his son. Yeah.
No, God's son.
Oh, God's son. Jesus. Yeah. The thing I think about Jesus is that he was trying to tell us that if you want to meet God, you'll see him in the mirror. You'll say, when you look in the mirror and say that the way, the truth, and the light is through me, that you're talking to yourself. And the only way to God is through yourself, not through an external force, a government, a man, anything like that. I believe Jesus was trying to give us that message that we are God's expression, and each of us is equal in that expression. That Jesus said, "You will go on and do greater things than I." I believe that he knew that we were like him.
Mankind is very cruel.
Mankind is cool. We've fallen in dark ways. They say it's Satan's world at the moment. Satan is a deceiver, and Nasa in Hebrew means to deceive. How about that? Have a nice day. I believe God is within us, and we are the center of creation.
Brilliant.
We don't evolve from apes, and we can't walk under a ball. It's hard to read my sign. It's flapping around in the wind. No?
Thanks, mate.
No?
Don't believe a word of it.
You think that you could see curvature?
Yes, I do.
Can you measure it? No, you can't. You can't measure curvature. Sir, you can't measure curvature. You think you can lie to yourself. No? Over water. Over water. There's no curvature over water, lads. NASA is lying to us about being in space.
I'm okay.
Space is fake. Earth is flat.
We don't really care.
All right. That's fair enough. You don't have to.
Yeah, here comes videos of some camera.
I care. I care. Earth is flat. Welcome back, guys. Sorry about talking last week. Seems like most people found your way back here. I appreciate each and every one of us. That's nice. You're a nice guy, man. Earth is flat. Hopefully I'll meet you in Penny someday. Guys, they lie to us about going to space. Did you know that? Earth is flat. But you said Earth is not flat. No spell. I'm not saying it's exactly like that, but it's a good conversation starter. Makes sense. And here in the center here is what I would say is where we can live. There. Just there. Accretion disk. And then this outer ring might be what they call the Kuiper belt, or some other signature circle that they see up there. Earth is flat, ladies, not a spinning
No,
globe.
thank you.
Alright, have a nice day. Where's the moon? Have we found the moon yet? A little bit early. Tell them to check out Tim Peake. Tim Peake's guy as well. Tim Peake never went to space. He was faking space with a heart. Space is fake. Guys, space is fake.
All right, thank
Open
you.
your mind. Some information, bro.
Thank you.
Have a nice day. How's the wind? I hope it's not getting too much up in the mic. touch the screen and boom, it was gone. Can I offer you some information as you cycle past?
Thanks, mate.
Have a nice day. Enjoy the cycle. Imagine cycling up the side of a globe. Oh, it's all flat when it all seems flat. Well, doesn't that sound like it's... I got some information today. Maybe you say info. Earth is flat, guys. We can prove that Earth is not a globe. We can prove that Earth is not a ball.
I mean, I'm happy about it, you know what I mean?
That's a form of cognitive. Really. I'm happy. Yeah, it's all right. I don't need to look at that. What does it matter if the Earth is flat? Oh, people genuinely ask that question. Some information for you guys today.
No, thank you.
Earth is flat. Earth is not a spinning ball. We've been lied to by NASA. Gravity is hoax. It's all buoyancy and density. And apparently some electrostatic downward force. Earth is flat. Earth is not a spinning ball, young man. Some information for you today. That'll be a no, thank you. So some information for you.
What else?
Oh, my banners are taking a bit of a bash. You know how the Hebrews set out the earth so it was enclosed with a firmament above? That's how the Hebrews describe it. And that's probably what it is. The idea that we don't have a firmament breaks the law of thermodynamics. Yeah, these are getting a little bit frisky here. Fortunately, the bulk of the wind is going that way. Earth is not a spinning ball. We can prove that we're not spinning. There's no science that proves the Earth is spinning. And water is always going to find level. Water will always find level. Maybe I'll go down on this level for a while. Bit breezy. Some info, bro?
No, we good, man. Thank you.
Hello. You want a flyer? Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Some information for you, man?
Thank you.
Oh, guys, is that wind getting a little bit much in the mic? I got some info for you guys today.
Thank you.
Yeah. How long was that last stream before it cut out? I'm in Portsmouth, yeah, it's like Portsmouth. That tower over there is called Splinter, and you can go to that glass viewing area there, which is not that high, 30 meters maybe. And you can see France from there on a clear day. More than 40 above sea level, I grant you that.
The answer is gravity.
The answer is gravity.
How's the sea level? Why is there a globe?
So-
I guess you're asking the question,
Yeah.
why is the sea level?
Yeah, yeah. What is gravity?
The force that's stopping you flying off.
I'll let you take your call.
It's,
It's flat. Look at my banners.
yeah, I'll start heading back in a sec. Yeah, we'll do.
I used to believe in this theory of gravity.
Can I just ask, what did you study at like school or college or uni?
I think they call that an appeal to authority. Like, what authority did I bow down to learn what I learned?
Okay.
I have, like if you were going to university now, would you have the information rammed into your head, or would someone say, this is what I want you to learn?
Combination of taking from what we've learned over hundreds of years. We've already proven that the.
No, you're not answering my question. My question is that in order to learn something.
Look, you're speaking to someone who has an A level in physics. Okay.
All right. So what's the physical experiment that we do to prove that the Earth is spinning?
We can see it by the effects on the weather system.
Observation is not the same as an experiment. You know that.
Yes, I know that. But you
Okay.
can, from the observation from how the moon, stars, the weather effects that we have, we're on a disk. How would you explain then to me? Okay,
We're on a disc. I agree. Maybe on a disc.
we're on a globe. We're on a spin.
Which
Okay.
is not a disc.
So you believe in a flat plane.
And so the observations work for a flat Earth. Yeah.
So have you skydived, for example? Can you see the curvature of the Earth? Have you been in a plane?
I've been in a plane, and I've got pilot friends who are commercial pilots who say they make no allowance for curvature. Do you know how they make allowance for curvature when they're flying?
Oh dear.
But you still haven't given me
How
a
are you
physical.
using that phone?
You haven't given me a physical
No, you tell
experiment.
me. Just tell me.
You haven't answered my question.
Tell me how you're using that phone.
I'm holding it in my hand.
Yeah, but how are you streaming that information to the web? I see you on YouTube.
Well, the
It's
phone.
a satellite, isn't it?
No,
And
of
a
course not.
satellite will be in the sky.
You believe your phone is touching a satellite? Can
No,
reach a satellite?
but it uses a signal.
No,
from
no,
a
no, no, no.
satellite. So how
No,
do you get that
it is
signal
not-
to your phone?
From a ground tower.
Okay, and where does that? So if you have a ground tower over there in Oxford, and you had a ground tower over in Africa, how do you get from critical A to signal B? If it's straight.
Undersea cable. You know that the data industry admit that 99% of all data traffic is undersea cable,
fully
and in
aware
South
of
Africa, they had basically dial-up until about 10 years ago when the cables landed ashore. Your phone is never going to touch a satellite in the sky.
It really is.
It's never going to. But you still haven't answered my question, sir, which is that what's the physical experiment that proves Earth is spinning? Do you know about the interferometer experiment?
No, I don't.
Well,
I just want to. Can you answer me one thing?
you haven't answered my questions, man.
What's the reason why you think NASA lies about space?
The same reason the Vatican lies about religion.
I'm an atheist, so it doesn't matter.
Well, then, for me, as an atheist, a former atheist myself, I know that both the Vatican and the head of science, as it were, are designed to control people's minds and to keep us small and insignificant,
Well, that
and
is
believe that
religion.
we evolved from apes. It's not religion. I stand against. I don't support religion. I think that religion of all sorts is designed as control. At the end of the day, you are your own master, and you are created with that mastery. But the governments and the religious orders wanted that mastery from us, and because people lost faith in the faith systems, they gave us something else to have faith in. Big Bang, which is a Catholic invention, by the way. Did you know that? George Lemaitre, he comes up with Big Bang, and he's a Catholic Jesuit priest. So it's actually a Catholic invention. And you see, like even Newton or Einstein, not Einstein, but Newton, these people were all linked to the Vatican. It might be that the Vatican didn't like them, but that's what they tell people. But actually, the Vatican is more than happy for people to believe that they evolved from apes, rather than God created you perfect as you are, and whatever God is. I don't have a preference for
Explain
what.
to me then why the sun is there and it's moved from east to west.
The sun is traveling over our heads. That's what we see. It has moved, like you said. It has moved from east to west. You said it
No,
yourself.
It hasn't moved. We have moved.
Okay. How fast are we moving?
I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's something like 16,000 kilometers per hour or something like that.
Wow. So it's been a long time since you studied physics.
Yeah.
I had to go back and study all of this again when I looked at this.
It's 20 plus years ago.
Okay, so they say it's 1,000 miles an hour, not 16,000 miles an hour. And they say that because they claim the Earth is 24,900 miles in circumference, and for us to make a rotation once a day, then we would, to be back in the same place, we have to turn at that speed. Now in physics, which is what you study, if you spin a wheel in this atmosphere, what's going to happen to the air around that wheel? Will it stick to the wheel, or will it get left behind? Will there be a drag, and then also a reduction of that drag as you move away from the
I see
surface?
where you're going with that. But no.
Oh, well, we
I'm
have to
gonna
laugh
have to.
because we don't want to accept that. My gosh, yes, in reality, if this ball was spinning 1,000 miles an hour, we would have winds commensurate with that kind
No,
of thing.
because it's all relative.
You can't just say it's all
It's
relative.
all relative. If you're in an airplane, the reason why you do not feel that you're travelling at 500 miles an hour
Yeah.
is because you are relative at that point within that vessel that you are.
So in that we are in agreement, sir, because you're offering me an example of an enclosed capsule, and I say that on a flat Earth we are an enclosed capsule.
I haven't got time, unfortunately, but
Your evidence is of a closed system.
you can't
Take the
explain-
lid off that plane,
You can't.
and then tell me you can't feel relative movement.
You can feel thrust.
Yeah, but once it's in kind of, cruising, you
Well,
can't
yeah.
really feel that movement. But if you took the,
And
if
the
you
same
took,
way,
if
if
you
you're
took
free
the
falling
roof
and you
off,
hit terminal velocity, you wouldn't feel drag or anything.
I don't know about that. I think you'd be feeling the same amount. It just wouldn't be an accelerating amount.
Well, no, because once you
Because you're
hit
still
terminal
in the
velocity-
system, yes, because you're exposed to the system. Like the outside of the plane is exposed to the system and feeling all sorts of drag. And they try and minimize that through aerodynamics, right? But if you took away that aerodynamics and took off the roof of a car or a plane, then you would definitely know you were moving. You would definitely know in this atmosphere, you would know you were moving. So you offer me as your proof or your rebuttal a closed system.
You haven't answered my question of, I mean, you poorly phrased that anyway, so you're not getting probably the side effect from the audience you're trying to attract. But the reason why that water encompasses the globe is because everything is attracted to one another. Okay? If it wasn't, it would all be floating in the air.
And do you have
It's all to do
physical?
with- and it's all to do
Okay.
with mass.
Okay. Do you have a physical example other than citing this, which we say is nonsense? Say,
Well, you explain how it doesn't
no,
float then.
no, can you offer? You've offered me a model, but can you show
You
me
haven't
that in
answered
physics?
question, have you?
Can you show me that in
You
physics?
haven't counted that gravity is what keeps that and mass together.
Okay, that's a theory, but again, if you could show me
one
that as a model, say here's a model Earth with all of this water tracking the outside of the object, and it's spinning, and the water's still sticking there, and rivers are flowing up the side of it. If you could show me that, I'd go, okay, you maybe got something here. But until you got that, everything is pseudo.
What do you think water falls
Pseudo.
from a waterfall? It doesn't go up, doesn't it?
Always goes down, bro. Water always
Exactly.
goes
And
down.
it's constant. Like
And
the
why
laws of
doesn't it go
physics.
down off the side of a ball? Because pencils fall when the teacher drops them on the table in science class when you were 7 years old. She doesn't tell you that she picked that pencil up to take it out of equilibrium and to impart some
Well,
force
yeah,
to
but
it.
then you're going on about Newton's
All right.
first law of physics.
Mhm.
That everything is balanced until an equal opposite force acts upon it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that that's true. That there is, but that's why the water is in stasis until the wind acts on it. And when it's in stasis, it's level, like you see a lake.
You still
on
haven't
a still
answered
day.
the question, have you?
If sea level, then how globe? Because you're saying I have to believe in the theory of gravity. That's the religion that I'm leaving.
Okay, I'm going to leave it there, but
All
it's
right,
nice
bro.
talking to you.
All the best. Some information, guys. Earth is flat, not a globe.
Cheers, thank you.
Oh, there's nice little conversation. How do you have infinite vacuum next to your atmosphere? Never learning, but never having some information, bro.
Thank you.
Have a nice day. sailor. If I stand on that pontoon a mile away from me, everything will be flat for the next mile. And I stand on the next pontoon, everything will be flat for the next mile. Play football on a pitch, not on a ball. You can't play on a ball, guys. Earth is flat. Earth is flat, like a pitch. Earth is flat, guys. That's a fake space. Did you know that? 8 inches per mile squared, they say the curvature over water. There's none of it. Some information for you guys?
Yeah, cheers, buddy.
Ma'am, some information for you today? Thank you. Oh, there goes one of my flyers. It's flying away. Reminds me of the day the police stole some from me, took them out of my hand, and tore them up and threw them in the bed. Earth is flat, bro. We can prove that we're not on a ball. We can prove Earth is not a spinning globe, and we didn't evolve from monkeys. We did not evolve, friends. Earth is not a spinning ball. Thanks for your support. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you. How to provide experiments, yes. Just the observation cannot be the evidence. The observation cannot be the evidence. It cannot be the proof. That's the starting point, the observation. Oh, these guys are getting very frisky here. Right down the belly. Earth is flat, guys. Yeah, mix of responses today. Mix of conversations. The weather's nice. Can't complain about that. Yeah, that guy had to leave because he really wasn't able to answer. I studied physics at A level, which is really not that high, to be honest. But anyway. And am I qualified? All right, mate. Good, how are you? Earth is flat, not a spinning ball. We can prove that they're lying. NASA never went to space. Tim Peake is faking it when he says he went to space. Some information for you, sir. Nice. I got that a little bit better tied down. Yeah. I am without the shoes today. It's quite pleasant, actually. Barefoot thing. First grade teachers. You know, this is it, is that most of what we're defending we learned when we were 6 years old, 7 years old. Earth is not a spinning ball. We've been lied to about who we are and where we are. I'm very interested. Hi ma'am, I got some information for you today. Some information for you, bro. I swear. Vaccine damage. Guys, we are the center of creation. We've been lied to about who we are, where we are. Evolution is a lie. Big Bang is another lie to make us insignificant. We are the center of creation and the earth is flat. Earth is enclosed and flat. You can't fall off the edge. There is no edge that we can go to. Maybe the Antarctic thing, you know? But I can't prove that. That Navy guy said he knew some stuff by saying he couldn't say what he knew. But, you know, either that's cognitive dissonance or he's genuinely seen and heard things that would, as I think he was intimating, would cause pandemonium amongst people. And you have to say, guys, seriously, that's one of those things that I often wonder about, is that, is there some truth that if we had to learn that truth, you'd know why that they bullshit people about everything. It's like you get shown something and you go, okay, I'll fake it, I'll lie about it. I do have to allow that possibility in the scheme of things. But like I said to him, it's my, that is maybe meant to be a slow, like letting a balloon out. If you let it out too fast, the whole thing ruptures. If you let it out slowly, then it's more manageable. Because people would rupture. The BBC had to announce this. Guys, the Earth is flat, not a spinning globe. We can prove they're lying about science to do with evolution and Big Bang. We are the center of creation and the Earth is flat. Got some information for you today, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You look like you're all together. Have a nice day. Can I give you some information today, ma'am? God is within you. You are the center of creation. We did not evolve from monkeys. You think you evolved from an ape? It's impossible for an ape to give birth to a human. And for a black man to give birth to a white child with blue eyes. That's all made up bullshit. Pseudoscience, they call it. Pseudoscience. Can I give you guys some info? Hey, can I give you a flyer to take home, mate?
I know, thank you.
You know the Earth is flat, not a globe. A globo. Earth is flat. La Terra plana. Is that how you say it? Earth is not a globe, ladies. We've been lied to about who we are and where we are. Earth is flat. Where's the moon? People are walking away from me when you stand over there. Earth is flat, not a spinning ball. It would be nice to have a few fatties here with me because it can be a little bit kind of like I got some information for you guys today. Yeah, you alright? You want some information?
No, thank you.
Not a spinning ball. We are the center of creation. I got some information, ma'am. You guys want some info today? It's not a spinning ball. It's flat. Getting some sun this weekend, mate. As the sun travels overhead. Like that guy said. So the sun's moved from east to west. Yes, the sun has moved from east to west. No one ever says, oh, we rolled back over and saw the sunrise. Sun doesn't... Earth is flat. Did you know that? Mentally something. Exactly. Sorry, brother. You have a lovely day. Some information. Oh, good. who we are and where we live. Want some info? Earth is not a spinning globe. Earth is not a spinning ball. The Earth is flat. Yep. Earlier in the stream, or the last stream, a guy came and gave me tried to instruct me to clean this all up. He was just another member of the society, not my boss. Ma'am, I got some information for you today. God is within us all. You know that? We are the center of creation. I'm assuming it together. Disney and NASA fake space together. Did you know that? There's a picture of Pluto that looks like the cartoon. An image of the cartoon, an outline of the cartoon. I can't really see this map. All of a sudden I was taken to an internet link, and then I tried to get back from that and the stream was gone. And I tried to go back in the live, and normally if there's a stream running, it says there's a stream running, do you want to resume it? It didn't offer me that, it just said start a new stream. So I had to start a new stream.
Eggs were like one side. Even eggs were like.
Earth is flat, not a spinning ball.
Please don't film me, mate. You see, have you had all your jab? No, I wouldn't, mate.
No, you know that's politics. The government is controlling our minds. Got some information for you. NASA fake space, they never went to the moon. International Space Station is also fake. Gravity is just density and buoyancy. I know obviously that statement, Earth is flat like water, it's not complete. I know that. Can I give you some information, young man? Info for you?
Wait, hang on. Have you been the one that's running all the...
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, cool. I just wanted to know you've been writing all this stuff.
I'm trying to inform people we've been lied to by the government. Yeah, there's quite a bit of it around here, I suppose, because it didn't rain overnight, so a lot of what I put down yesterday is probably still around. Oh, that must mean this town's a globe. Earth is flat, not a spinning ball, guys. We've been lied to about who we are, where we are. Sailing, eh? Nice that people can do that kind of thing. Oh my lord, there's a big group of people coming this way. Folks, I've got information for you today. We are the center of creation. We are not evolved apes. We are the center of creation, not evolved apes. Earth is not a spinning ball, Earth is flat. Earth is flat, some information. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. Guys, I've got some information for you today. Earth is not a spinning ball, Earth is flat. La terra plana, la terra plata. Earth is flat. Guys, we are the center of creation. Here's some information for you today. Earth is flat, not a spinning ball. Some information, bro. Have a nice day, man. For you guys, some info. The The Christian Bible in Genesis says the earth is flat and not moving. God separates the waters from the waters. We didn't evolve. We are the center of creation. Got some information for you today. A flyer.
Thank you.
Okay, earth is flat. Earth is flat. Earth is flat. Yes.
Thank you.
You
You're
heard
right.
this? You
You're
know?
right.
Awesome.
I will take
Awesome.
one.
Awesome. Bang. Earth is flat. Yeah. There you go. Save picture. Some information for you. Earth is flat. Did you know that?
Nothing.
Okay. We are the center of creation.
Nothing.
Take my flyer. Take the flyer. It's got the poster on it.
Okay.
Cool. That was a bit of a score there. I think French. How was that turnabout? One of those girls with a flat. They were like, oh, bang, yes.
It's going to the Isle of Wight, I think, isn't it?
Earth is not a globe. We've been lied to about who we are and where we live. We are the center of creation. Earth is flat. Did you know that? Not a globe. NASA fake space. It's all CGI. It's all done with harnesses to make it think they're floating, but they're not. Gravity is buoyancy and density. There's no experiment that proves Earth is spinning. No experiment proves Earth is spinning or water is curving. Oh, bless you and me more. Can I give you some information today? Okay. Some information for you today?
Nothing.
Guys, Earth is not a spinning globe. We can't prove that at all. Earth is motionless. Sea is level.
I'll take one.
All right. Have a nice day. How about that? How about that? That was a little flurry of activity there. You know that everything, gravity is buoyancy and density. Just because things fall to the floor doesn't mean you can walk under a ball. Earth is flat. The sea is level. There you go. I was able to give a few out because of flat Earth. Because of flat Earth there. That was awesome. Hi ladies, I'm just out informing people that we are the center of creation, that God made us perfect. No evolution from monkeys. That's a lie designed to demean you. There's a cackling coming from the stage right there. And I don't know if you can hear that. There you go. A cackling. So, hey ho. Thanks for the thumbs up, guys. Do appreciate it. Do appreciate you being here, and especially appreciate those who, oh my gosh, what's happening to my flyers here? Are they coming out the bag or something? Those who are able to make a small gift to support the work and help keep this work going, this journey going. I really hope to do some good work this summer 2023, and we'll see what happens after that. NASA faking space, guys. NASA fake space. They fake space, they never went to the moon. And the International Space Station is all done on Hollywood CGI. NASA fake space. Guys, I got some information for you. You can't live on a ball. You can barely balance on a ball. You have to play on a pitch. Earth is flat. Earth is flat, sir. Did you know that? Earth is not a spinning globe. We can't prove that we're spinning or that water is bending over its surface.
You know what?
What?
Every
body that knows how to read a map,
Yeah.
which includes everybody that's been in the Navy or in the Army.
I was in the
or
Army.
in the Air Force.
Yeah, I was in the Army.
Well, how on earth do you map read if you don't know how to map works?
Well, obviously topography is absolutely fine, but all of that takes a zero from sea level. Doesn't matter where you are in the world,
So how on
it's
earth
the same sea
How
level.
on earth do you read a map then?
Well, it's northwest, east and south. These things all exist on a flat map. There were maps long before there was globes. There were flat maps long before there were globes. There's maps that are 1,000 years old. Globes, less than half that. Earth is flat because the sea is level, sir. You can't prove that water is curving over its surface or that you're spinning, but you believe it because you were brainwashed at 6 years old. Earth is flat. But I'm the crazy one. Guys, we are the center of creation. NASA fakes space to minimize us and make us believe we come from monkeys.
Thank you very
That's
much,
all a lie.
Papa.
Have a good day.
You don't believe in evolution?
No, not anymore. I used to.
Are you not a creationist?
Yeah, I guess I must be a creationist. I don't have a religion though. I think that there was an intention to create this place, not that we slowly evolved from slime to monkeys and then men. So you were created like a European-looking man, perfect. Not that you had to wait for thousands of years for black men to give white children.
Have you ever heard about planet Nibiru?
Yeah, never.
Right, so you know it comes on in a 6,000 year cycle.
Okay.
And that was probably what was the problems with, you know, solar flares and the seas. And
Yeah.
I think maybe it's quite possible that a more advanced civilization, I'm not saying they're not made by a god,
Yeah.
I have no idea. I'm a man, I don't understand God, but as they come on this cycle close to something like that, they can make the jump to Earth.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, whatever they wanted to mine or do here,
Yeah.
they took something from the monkey and changed it into
Ah. Okay.
humans, and that's why we built the pyramids from the whip, and we worked for them. We did call them in the old days the Watchers, or you know.
Okay, so there's a couple of things I would just challenge on that theory, and that is that slaves could not have built the pyramids because we, with our technology today,
Yeah.
cannot build the pyramids.
Yeah.
That's the one thing to say.
This
so
is
it
what I'm
was
thinking
built
then.
by
What about their
technology,
technology? Maybe
yeah,
they
that was
did it.
higher than we had, and so I have no issue with there being higher life here before, but it didn't necessarily have to look like aliens. Although
No.
I'm not going to discount that because
What
for
made the
us-
aliens like? You know?
Well, yeah, because for us, we say that on a flat Earth, that there's infinite possibilities in terms of extra continents and extra terra, extra Earth, extraterrestrials, and that there might be higher civilizations on these other lands. And that once this place gets wiped out, because there is a Noah's flood that comes through here every 500 years or every 400 years or something, and it wipes most of human civilization out, and the place gets reseeded.
I think it's that resets it, that cycle.
The Nibiru thing.
Possibly.
Maybe, yeah. It's all electromagnetic. I put
What
that on
made
my.
that? What made the people? that made
Yeah,
that?
exactly. Not a big bang. Not a big bang. Earth is flat, guys. Earth is flat, not a ball. Earth is flat, not a ball. There are some people that haven't heard of this at all. Yeah, I'm in Portsmouth, yeah. Alright guys. I'm in Portsmouth. And the sun is travelling that way. And the moon is up there, also travelling that way. And rolling. Counterclockwise in the south. Hey guys, I got some information for you today.
Good man, much appreciated.
Today, faking space. You know that? We're the center of creation. Hey guys, how you doing? Alright. Salam alaikum. I thought you got to the Muslim. Right? Greek Orthodox. Okay. So you see this Hebrew cosmology there. You see that in the O of God there. I've got the Hebrew cosmology. Huh? South Africa. South Africa. Is that in South Africa? Oh, yeah, Nando's. Yeah. No, in South Africa we've got Nando's. It originates from.
It is.
Yeah.
Wait, it sounds like Australian.
Yeah, no, a lot of people say Australian accent. But, I've lived away from South Africa for nearly 3 decades, so my accent is probably a little softer had I stayed there. the last 30 years.
Where you moved here?
I moved to England because I was born in England, but I moved back to England in '94, and then the last few years I've been traveling in Portugal and South Africa. Yeah. Eastbourne. Lisbon, yeah. I went to Lisbon, yeah. But when I was in Portugal, I was mainly in the mountains near what's that big mountain range in the center of the country? There's a beer named after it. Estrella.
Estrella.
And there's a dog called Estrella as well. Big dog there they've got called Estrella. Big mountain dog, yeah. Big hairy dog.
Like a hound.
Hound. Yeah, a monster dog. But anyway, turns out that in the Hebrew cosmology, in the Old Testament, in Genesis it talks about God separating the waters from the waters. And God, when the creation story, in the 6 days of creation, God separates the waters from the waters, and He sees the earth is firm and fixed, and then the sun and the moon come on day 4 of creation, I think, and there are small lights, one for the day and one to rule the night. That's what it says in the Bible, right? In the Old Testament, and you read that in the Orthodox text, right? The Old Testament.
Yeah, but we call the New Testament as well.
You also have a New Testament. Okay. But the Jesus is the same with Jesus.
Yeah, it's pretty similar to the Catholic, but
Okay.
have some differences.
Okay. So we think that civilization, in the Noah's flood story,
Yeah.
we think that civilization was wiped out not 6,000 years ago in the flood, but actually less than 600 years ago by a flood. And that we've got old buildings, temples, we've got the Acropolis, we've got all these beautiful buildings that are massive and that we cannot build today. And that were built by technology that we cannot replicate ourselves. The marble, the work, and the stone, the size of it, and all of it being so big, right? No, we think that there was a civilization here. Now you go back and you dig Göbekli Tepe or these other places where you go 30 meters under the ground in the dirt and you find these beautiful big buildings. So we think that there was a Noah's flood, but only 600 years ago. Or
Wait,
less.
but the Acropolis is way older than that.
The Acropolis is?
It's way older than 600.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah. No, I'm not saying that it's not older than that. They survived. A lot of buildings didn't survive, and sometimes we find them now under the mud.
Oh, yes.
The Acropolis is high on a hill, and so perhaps it somehow survived. But even with in Rome, they got the what's it called? The big
Colosseum?
Colosseum. Yeah. Now that when they first Constantine came upon it, or someone came upon it a few hundred years ago, they had to dig it out. What you see today, they already had to dig out 10 meters of dirt. And still below that, if you go to Rome today, you see them digging into the street below there, and they find columns and beautiful buildings, also 10 meters below the ground still.
Yeah.
So we think that these buildings were there, but high civilization got flooded, and when you flood a place, what's left behind is mud. And that mud, sometimes we dig it out, and you can go around this city and many cities in the UK and other places in Europe and even in South Africa, and you find these buildings are half in the mud. There's 1 story, 2 stories, 3 stories that are in the mud, or that you can't get access to anymore because they're all below floor. And then sometimes I've seen it myself where there's window frames down below in the basement where it's just into the mud.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
So, yeah.
So we think that this earth gets cyclically cleansed.
Who's
by
we?
God. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not. It's no religion, but we have a group of researchers who look into a subject called Tartaria. That we believe that there was a culture, possibly that spanned a large part of the earth, called Tartaria, and that then a mud flood came. So there's a subject area called mud flood, and if you research that, there's hundreds of people around the world just going around filming buildings, underneath buildings, and all these places. It's like, no, they never dug this.
What's that originate from?
Tartars. Well, there is definitely evidence of them being in the Caucasus Mountains.
Okay.
But some people say, when you look at the architecture of Greece, Rome, you see this architecture, people find it in the jungles of in South America.
Yeah.
They'd be like, how did these people talk to each other?
Yeah.
How were they connected to build at the same level with the same ideas if they didn't know each other, if they didn't have a technology that was shared?
Okay.
But we're told the story of there were just simple Indians, Incas, and people like that, and they couldn't do much, and Columbus found America, and we didn't know about America. When there's buildings that are like European buildings in America before the Columbus period.
I mean, yeah.
time to look into this, it's like, whoa, that's a shocking amount of information. But
So you think they're interlinked the way they were like?
I think that mankind has had high culture before,
Yeah.
really high culture, and
It's
then
been wiped out.
and that's been wiped out. Yeah. And so when we were that high culture, maybe we had technology, internal technology or external, but maybe internal technology that allowed us to manipulate frequency, because everything in this world is frequency, vibration. And if you can change the frequency of something, you can change how much it weighs. And so you can maybe shape it or lift blocks like the pyramid blocks. You can maybe lift them up more easily. But also we
I've
think.
seen a documentary about how we built, and it's not like they said it was with water, like they were leveling up in water, you know, like
Yeah.
the logs of like you know a river.
A
It has
barge.
logs.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
that's how they take the logs, like
Yeah.
reduce the weight of it.
Okay.
So, like I mean, it could be.
Well, we're lifting them up like 100 meters or whatever. Just with that technology would be interesting.
Excavation.
But here's the thing. Like the Chinese some years ago tried to build a 1/6 replica of the Great Pyramid of Giza, and they failed to achieve it. They were unable to do that. And we can build a 100-mile bridge, today, but we can't replicate. We genuinely can't have the technology
Like
to do that.
limestone
Yeah,
and the same materials.
and the way these things are cut and the cement that they used is so fine, so small but so strong.
Very precise.
Very, very precise. It's down to like micrometers of accuracy. And
Yeah.
you can't do that just with slaves and lifting things up, heavy blocks and crashing them into place and so on. Now they had technology. Once upon a time, mankind was possibly much bigger than what 6-foot man now would look like a small man compared to the giants 20-foot, 30-foot man that once walked around the earth. I think possibly each time we got smaller, like Noah, each time we got smaller, we stopped living as long and we were not as big.
What do you mean?
Noah was, there's big statues of men holding lions under their arm. And so we think that men were once giants. Well, we see some of these buildings, like Acropolis, that are made for much bigger people. Because simple people with carts and horses, they don't make things that are 10 times bigger than they need them. Even today, our buildings are like our houses are made small. But in the past, they made them big and spacious and high ceilings. And how did you warm all of that stuff when you didn't have electricity and so on? You wouldn't make it more difficult. You would make it as simple as you can if technology was simpler.
I kind of believe that those drawings are like a representation of like,
Okay, it could be. But the buildings that we see, and you go around Italy or whatever, and you see these doorways that you can barely throw a stone to reach the top of the door.
Yeah.
And now men with horse and cart are meant to make and fashion and then lift such a door. They go, that's a little bit too much trouble. We don't make doors on that scale today.
I mean, it's definitely impressive, like the way
It's impressive. And meant to be made by men simpler than us and smaller than us.
I don't think they were simpler.
Well, that's the story.
Like
that
we
we're
think we're
the
more
we're the most,
advanced,
yeah,
like,
but we're not.
maybe
I agree.
also.
And in fact, we're less advanced now because our minds are being controlled by a central controller. Like there is one, Reuters, for example. There is only one news agency in the world, and they put out all of the news that we see, all the ideas that we see. Our minds are easily to television, radio first, but then television, newspaper, TikTok. It has the and then it's all algorithms that'll offer you more of what you're looking for, and it'll steer you a path along make you buy stuff, but certainly believe stuff. And a lot of what we believe about the world is stuff that we see on our phone or on our. That's what So if Tim Peake was in space, he was on your phone in space. He wasn't. You weren't there with him to say I experienced space.
Wait, who?
Tim Peake.
Tim Peake, the UK astronaut.
Ah, yeah.
He went to the International
Wait, you don't
Space
believe
Station.
like you went to space?
No, well, the International Space Station is a marvel of mechanics and engineering, right? But we've never seen it built on Earth. We only all of a sudden it's up in space. Abracadabra, boom, it's up in space, and we didn't have to build it on the ground and watch our filming it over months and months and building it and so on. All of a sudden it's in space. Now we see that they've got a mock-up of that in a swimming pool. And when we see them doing a spacewalk, they train in a swimming pool. But when they
cavity.
but of course in a swimming pool you're under pressure, whereas in a vacuum it's a negative pressure, it's a pulling away pressure. So it is a different environment. But they've never put the spacesuit in a vacuum chamber and put a man inside it. We've never done that. But when we watch them do spacewalks, and we're very careful when we watch them doing spacewalks, we sometimes see bubbles leaving the helmet like they're in water. We sometimes see, once we saw a reflection of a scuba diver during a spacewalk. Sometimes we've seen like the flaps, the hatches, they look like they're made of material, they're just wobbling and waving in the water kind of thing. So I think that what the International Space Station is done by CGI, it's done by using the Vomit Comet plane to create zero G for 45 seconds, and they film that to make it look like the inside of the ISS. And then they use harnesses. And Tim Peake's interview on Channel 4, when he first went up there, he does a 360 flip forward, and he looks like his veins are coming out of his neck because he's under pressure. He looks like he's about partially falling as he's halfway on that, and then he stands up, he's like, oh, I'll get better, it's my first time, and so on. But if zero G is what we believe it to be, you and I should be able to get up there in zero G and just immediately do a flip and go, look, I'm not going to touch anything unless I push too hard against this wall. I'll just stay in this place. And then when you see them in doing interviews, they're bouncing up and down like this, like they're sort of on some kind of harness system. And we've seen guys pulling at their harness strings to kind of pull them in line and so on. So these things are all done through TV trickery to make us believe that they're getting to the moon, because it demeans the creation. It means that we are not special.
Do you I mean, doesn't negate that?
But it definitely does.
How?
You know why, brother? Because it says Big Bang is how we came to be, and that evolution required, you see, for us to be a ball in a vacuum of space, all of the other things that come with it, which is the Big Bang,
Yeah.
and there's expansion into a vacuum, and mass attracting mass, and coalescing under its own weight, and then eventually cooling to have an Earth spinning around the sun for billions of years, and then on that Earth somehow water arrives, and then that water gets slimy, and then some of that slime becomes fish, and that fish becomes a monkey, and that monkey becomes something. That's really what they're saying with this whole thing. Whereas for me, when I found that the Earth might be flat, I was like, wow, the Bible was right all along. It was telling us that this place is
why
created.
Oh, sorry, you go. Wait, why do you believe that the Bible is the right text, though? Like, how
I'm
do
not
you
saying
know?
that.
How do you know for sure?
Well, no, I'm not saying that the Bible is the right text. I'm just saying that what they say in the Bible about the Earth's creation story was correct. When I was a teenager learning the Bible, I used to tease the preachers to say, hey, you know, your Bible is a flat Earth book, and we're taught in school that, of course, it's not. So for me, it does offer that there's some truth in that. But even in Quran, you know, the Quran says that the sun and the moon are lights that travel over us, not that we're rolling underneath these massive balls. So there are, in any of the texts, ancient texts, in fact, all the Mayans, the Egyptians, all of those cultures had us in some kind of sphere, that we're inside of that sphere, like a dome, but maybe it's a whole bubble, and that in the center of that, where the heavy stuff is settled at the bottom of that dome, or that ball, is the ground and the water, and above that is the gas and the air. Yes. So, and we happen to be heavy enough to stand on this ground. If it was water, we'd be floating. We are heavy enough in this air to be dense enough to stay on the ground. That's why we're down. If we put helium balloons to us, we attach a lot of helium balloons or a hot air balloon, well, eventually we would counterbalance that weight, and off we would go upwards like a helium balloon. So we say that the gravity that we're told is really just the expression of buoyancy. And if you lift something up, it'll drop back down because you brought it out of its balance or equilibrium where it was sitting on the floor.
So why do you think they're lying to us? The schools or the media or the different taught us, you know,
to use
society?
Yeah, well, to use religious iconography, they say that this is Satan's world, and that Satan will rule the world for 1,000 years. And in so doing, he's going to deceive us. Matthew 24:24 says the majority will be deceived, even amongst the elect will be deceived. So I believe that there is an intention to deceive God's creation, so that we actually hate on God, hate on ourselves. Even though you might be a loving whatever, you're kind of taking a side and saying, this is what it is, you know, this is the only truth, or this is the only, you know, this is what we come from. It's like some evolved ape, rather than, no, God intended to look like you, to come and look like you, to express itself as both of you, the three of us. And so for me, that's the highest accolade that I can give to God, is to say that God expressly designed this perfect habitat for us to come and live in, which would provide us with all the food we would need, the clothing we would need from the animals and skins and stuff. I'm not saying we shouldn't make fabrics out of cotton and so on, but all of that stuff is available to us in nature, and that God intended for that to be there. God intended us to have intellect and for us to have intelligence and consciousness, so that we could express and experience God's self. If we were inside God's belly, walking around, would we be saying, okay, we just want to sit here and watch telly all day and put a Neuralink brain plant in, and, we're going to just eschew nature and just buy everything from the pre-processed food factory? I don't think that's what God intended. I think that's what man wants. Man wants for us, some men want for us to be, whether it's Satan or just greedy men, want for us to take all of their poison and line up all the time for their poison, and this is who you are, pay your taxes, be a slave, don't have a free life, don't express yourself in whatever way you want. You've got to fit into this box.
I mean, I can't believe like the way I see God is like in a more interpretational way. So like there's no, I don't believe that there's really like it represents something within us, like the good choice, the bad choice. It's not really. I don't. Yeah, I like that.
Sure. And I can't disagree with that. And I say it's like this. It's like the Russian nested dolls, Matryoshka. There's 7 dolls.
Yeah.
Small one is us, and the big one is Allah, or is God, is everything. And there's a higher you, and then above that is higher and higher until you get to the all that is. And so yes, you are the expression of God, I think. And so any relationship that you have to God is through yourself, not through some preacher or somebody else. It has to be through yourself to have that relationship with God. And so I think that what this game tries to do is to interfere with that direct connection that we have to God. We have an electric link, if you like, and they're trying to interfere with that. Fluoride in the water, poison in the tea.
But
because your eyes are your, like Jesus had 12 disciples. Well, I believe that we have 12 disciplines. And you are the Jesus, you are the Christ center with 12 disciplines of life. And the first is Peter, the eyes. And the eyes can take in all of this natural information, green trees and life and beautiful flowers and spring and summer and winter and all these things. But it can also have the TV put in all sorts of images, whether it to be with marketing and buying lots of stuff or porn or anything that you're now infecting your God spirit with, And it's not to say, oh, how dare you, but it's just to say these things can lead us, a little bit like the 7 deadly sins, can lead us to astray from the path that maybe we were set out for. And these are temptations that are laid down for each of us, and each of us should try them. You shouldn't do like some people say, look, never go there, never look there. It's more a case of go look there, don't try the alcohol, but realize that there are risks associated with that. And hopefully if you have problems, you'll come to me and we can work them out. But you've got to make that choice for yourself. You've got to have walked that road and go, yeah, I've tried it, because God wants you to try everything and say, I'm going to choose, as you said, light and dark. I'm going to choose light over dark. But that's got to be your choice, because God has all light and dark. It's been interesting.
Why do you think the Earth is flat?
Oh, because the sea is level, and also because I know that the government lied to us about pretty much everything. And so if I can prove that Earth is going to curve around an object, it's never going to do that. But if I can prove that, then I might start to believe that Earth is a globe. But you see, water is level. Suez Canal is 120 kilometers long and level, engineered level. So there is no time when water is going to, other than the meniscus on the side of your glass, that surface tension, there's no time that the water is not going to...
disproven though, because there's been a test, a person who believed that the Earth was flat.
Not true. This was on a documentary channel.
Huh?
You saw it on the documentary channel.
Dependent.
With a laser, trying to shoot it through a hole.
No, he had a telescope.
Yeah.
And he said it was like a level flat river, what it was. And it was like a little thing that was traveling. And he should be able to see it by vanishes. So it means that.
Okay, let me ask you something else. Like, you see this ship coming in here, this ferry coming in here, it's just come over from France, right? And do you think it has sailed up the curve like this? he says. Now people say he's losing his mind. They'll write that off. So when a whistleblower, like with the medical industry, if a whistleblower comes out and says, "Oh, don't take this thing because there's something wrong with it," it's immediately shut down. Immediately, you must know that. For the last 3 years.
From the vaccines, right?
For the last 3 years, we've seen lots of doctors who say anything out of shop, out of turn, they get taken away. I lost my last YouTube channel because I was talking about that, and they
You
shut
don't
it down.
believe in the vaccines?
Not that I don't believe in the vaccines, it's that I don't think that there was ever a pandemic.
What do you mean? Like, so then people
So
were
what a
testing positive
pandemic?
just for fun?
Well, the
Wait,
guy
sorry,
is-
are we being like
Yeah.
Oh, right. Well, I don't understand how.
Okay, so a guy called Kerry Mullins is the
What?
Kerry Mullins
Alright.
is the inventor of the PCR test.
Yeah.
And he said it is not fit for purpose.
Just say like,
It's not fit for purpose, and it'll give you. And the medical industry admits there were lots of false positives, lots of people who passed this test who had nothing but a scratchy throat or a previous sniffle.
those people that full on went to the hospital and,
Okay, so let's try and keep the emotion out of it. Let's look at the overall death rate for the country, right? Because the pandemic should be like, now you, instead of losing 1% of your population, you're losing 5% of your population, right? That would be a pandemic in my mind. That would be a significant
I mean,
pandemic.
still 1%, 5%, it's a lot of people.
No, let's be grown up. When you've got more than 1% of the country dies every year, just because of old age.
Still a lot
No.
in my eyes. Big
So
ones.
1% is 1 of 100.
Yeah,
Do
still.
people live to an average of 100 years?
No, of course not.
So 1% is actually quite good.
Okay, so what are you saying?
It's actually, oftentimes it's 1.5, 1.6, be around that. That's your normal death rate. Let's be like mature about this. So it's normal. If you have a village of 10,000 people, it's normal that 150 of those people will die from old age, and maybe the few accidents, and maybe a suicide. That's what's going to happen in normal life today.
Yeah.
So if that went up to 300 people, 400 people, I would say that was a pandemic. But if it went up to 165 people, I'd say that's not a pandemic. So I went and pulled off the government's own data from their own website about what is the level of death. UK. And also in South Africa, because I was in South Africa. South Africa is a great example. The year before pandemic, 550,000 people died in the country the year before the pandemic. That's their norm. They got 60 million people. That's not bad. The next year, pandemic, 556,000. It went up by 6,000. That's not a pandemic, right? That's not a reason to make people stay at home and say that loved ones have to die alone. That's what we did. And then they said, because it was so bad, which it wasn't, and the UK was similar, except in the over 85s. The over 85s, there was a blip, an increase in average over the last 5 years. It was quite a significant increase in the over 85s. Guess what? The over 85s were all shunted out of hospital, and a lot of them were put on remdesivir and all these things that people in the industry say we were losing lots of people, like 20 people in a fortnight, which is so unusual for our industry, right? So that's when we saw it was our actions that created more harm. Now, when you look at doctors talking today and saying, by the way, since people have been taking the needle, our death rate is higher in 2020 than in 2020. It is up by more than 10% and higher in the age group, your age group. All of a sudden,
Caused by what?
oftentimes they use the term died suddenly from unknown causes. What we're seeing is a lot of blocking of arteries, like they call it myocarditis and other things. Young sportsmen, now I'm 55 years old, and in my lifetime, young sportsmen never fell over dead on the sports field, but that's happening today. Now you tell me what's changed in the last 3 years. Like I said, the death rate never got to pandemic level, so let's not even go to whether or not vaccine or not. That's a whole nother matter. There are people in virology who say that the only way you get a virus is through yourself. You cannot give virus to one person to another. You might be able to pass them a cold, but you cannot pass them a virus. That in virology, there's people in court cases with the governments around the world saying, show us the virus, because they never isolated the so-called SARS-CoV-2 virus. They never even isolated it. So the whole industry of virology is built on pseudoscience, just like the globe and the billions of light years and all that shit that we're told. Sorry?
Who makes the advancements in the industry? Like,
Well, you know what happens in the pharmaceutical, in the medical industry is that most doctors and most scientists will only get funding for their masters or whatever they're doing So we know, for example, that cannabis was curing all sorts of conditions back in the 1920s. Your great-grandma, she would know about recipes that had nothing to do with medicine and everything to do with what comes out of the garden. And that's how we healed. That's how we healed ourselves. Let plant be thy medicine. Yeah. But the pharmaceutical industry run by the Rockefellers and these types came in the 1920s and started making pills that they started demonizing, like plant medicine as quackery and pushing that out. So the young man who wants to go to become a doctor today, he will be told that's quackery. This is what you learn. And when someone turns up with this condition, we give them this pill. That's what they do. And if it's too bad, then we send them to the butchers and they'll cut that bit out.
I mean, I believe that it's a big industry that sometimes like it's profit based, but I don't believe that.
I mean, the herbal can only do so much. You can't heal everything, and that's why back in the day they were dying of all sorts. The herbal one exactly curing everything. Hence the
So let me offer you this. Like back in the day, when I was a young man, cancer was almost non-existent in my world, and they admit that back in 1960, you had a 1 in 8,000 chance of cancer. Now you have a 1 in 5, 1 in 4 chance of cancer. So you can't dial back and say that they didn't have all these causes.
Also, you couldn't diagnose back then as easily, so you couldn't say that's cancer.
But like dementia and Alzheimer's and all of these conditions, and even in children, autism, the rates of autism are off the charts.
I see it's more diagnosed now. That's why the rates seem higher.
I believe that these things are chemicals in our environment. These are
It's definitely like stuff that makes us ill.
Yeah.
In our environment.
You think about what your great-grandparents ate. Everything came off the land around their house. Now, nothing comes off the land around their house. Everything's in the factory.
Yeah, there was no
pesticides. The meat has got antibiotics in it. All sorts of things that they jab into the animals that are carry them once you eat it. So I think that our microbiome is under attack, and that's causing mental and physical conditions that we've never had before.
I want to ask your thoughts on something. What do you think of modern carnivores?
Modern carnivores.
Yeah.
You know what? I mean, carnivores meaning
Like exclusively animal products.
So when it comes to food, I think that we can be in extreme camps of, I only eat vegan or I only eat meat and stuff. And I think those are two ends of the spectrum. No. I eat meat, but I'm not like I think that you can be vegan or vegetarian for a period of time and that will improve your health. So I think that periods of time where all we eat is vegetables and stuff from trees, brilliant. But are there times in the year or in your life that eating meat is right for you? I think so. But I think it's weaponized. Both. I think that some people's response to either eating all because they don't want to hurt animals, rather than what's best for my body, so they will go full vegan. And then there's others, they won't even take bee honey. And then on the other end, you've got people who eat only meat. Now, in Alaska, they eat only meat. They eat only fish. That's what's available to them. So we know that you can thrive if your diet and your body is set up for that kind of diet. Hawaiian might have a different, slightly different gut adaptation. So there's some places on Earth where you really can't get meat, and there's places where that's really all there is to eat. Or sometimes it's the only way your family's going to stay alive through the winter is to slaughter a pig or something. So I try not to be too fixed on any of it. I try not to be gluttonous about any part of that. So not too much meat. But at the same time, realizing that I think because we're made up, everything is frequency, like Nicola Tesla said. Everything is vibration, and your body is made up of all these nuanced frequencies. They call it the DNA. And I think that the DNA of other animals are made up with similar frequencies, of different plants with similar frequencies, and so we should take on these plants and these animals.
So you believe more in structurally DNA, so you're saying more away from what we're taught in science about DNA, like RGB frequency based, A and T and C.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and you could take a musical symphony, and you could apply notes to that. You could apply that as, you could write that down as A, B, G, F, C. You could write that down, but it's just frequency.
So our makeup
is
genetic makeup is not just DNA, it's more frequency.
calculation of that frequency, and it's so nuanced that yes, it takes billions of lines of code or whatever to map one out, but that's all frequency. And I had an experience with DMT in 2015, which let me see that. It's ayahuasca. It's like your pineal gland is filled with DMT, which is said to empty when you die. So I think for me it was my conversion to seeing that there is a creator. I was atheist up until this morning, and then I smoked this DMT, and after 7 minutes, everything around me, its frequency was all vibration. Even the guy who's taking me through the ceremony, his body was just a constant vibration. It was just some meditation before.
In UK?
No, in South Africa. I didn't really know what I was letting myself in for. My friend had been living in the Himalayas for 15 years. Yeah, it was like my most important moment in my life, and initially it felt like I was dying. I felt like everything that I cared about was being ripped away from me. And then I was in a place of love, and it was just love, and I could see my higher self lying beneath me. It was insane, but I wasn't like tripping or hallucinating. For me, my brain was super alert. You could ask me a maths sum. I could have done any. I couldn't move.
Did you have memories? Did you remember things?
What I saw, I remember some of.
No, I mean like, did your memories disappear? Like, were you in a state of your conscious right now?
Yes, I was in a different state. It was like I could see all of my life story, all of human story in library, sort of going back behind me. Like the whole of human story had been written out, and there it was like in the cloud. And I could sense this higher presence that was beyond even my higher self, and I
like brain activity everywhere, like
I guess. But like I mean, the color and everything was like, the brain was working at a level that I'd never been expected. I've taken psychedelic mushrooms and things over the years, so this was on a different scale to that. But for me, it just showed me that everything is. One of the things why I wanted to tell you that was that the walls and the trees, they were all frequency, they were all vibration. Everything is just, even this wood that you're sitting on is simply a vibration that our avatar is interpreting. Yeah, as means or as wood or brick or tree. And so I think that this is all pulsing energy, and it's constantly in flux, constantly in movement. It's electromagnetic. It's like a torus system that is rising all the time. Energy is rising beneath, creating the magmatic energy below, and then rising up through our feet. And they tell us that maybe that's the moon there, maybe coalescing in these energy centers that we see as the moon and the sun. But the moon, by the way, is giving off a cold light, and scientists that are not flat earthers have measured this to be true. That if you go in the direct moonlight, there it is, you will find that the moonlight is cold and the shade of the moon is warmer by 2 degrees, which is the opposite. So the moon, I believe, is the cold light, and the hot obviously the sun. And we see that moon, so many days of the week, the month in the daytime, and we're told that that's meant to be a reflection of the sun, and if it is a block or a rock in space, then we should see a silhouette that's dark. But when you look at that silhouette now, it's blue. It's the same color as the sky, almost like it's in the sky.
But you wouldn't be able to.
The sky.
Yeah.
Do you not believe in the sky?
The sky?
Yeah.
I believe in the sky.
Do you not believe in the sky?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. But I don't think that the moon is outside of it.
Oh, so you believe the moon is inside?
It's within. It's within.
And
the lights are within, and the sun is.
You think the sun is within?
Yes.
Wait, but like,
I think if it was within, we'd be getting skin cancer every single day.
We'd be
getting skin cancer.
No, not at all.
Because those UV rays are too much.
Yeah, but remember when they no, don't use that stuff. It's got aluminium in it, and it gets absorbed and causes.
Go well with something to use. I could be in wrinkles.
No.
Please, I know you don't raisin, but I feel like I'm raisin.
Well, let me tell you this.
That's not what skincare TikToks are not telling me.
The sun, the distance to the sun.
that's why.
The distance to the sun has been moved.
Delete TikTok for real though. Like I'm saying.
The distance to the sun has been moved more than 13 times over the last century. Right? Sometimes it was 3 million miles away. They had it at 27 million miles away. Then it was 103 million miles away. Now it's 92 million miles away, right? But the way the sun moves, the way the sun works, is either, doesn't matter whether it's the blood or it works like it works. There's no getting around that, right? So the sun, I believe, is you're meant to be able to look at the sun and not, if if you're eating toxins and drinking the tap water, for example, then yeah, you're going to get damage from the sun. Or if you overdo it, if you're a white kid particularly, maybe, or a light pale skin who hasn't had a lot of sun, if you go and hammer the sun, it's going to hurt you. That's going to happen on a flat earth. But let me tell you this, that the sun is a small and local thing. And why I can evidence to you is that, take the moon, for example, right? On a moonlit night, you've got a blanket of cloud over your head. Now look up at the moon in your mind's eye, and you look up at the moon, and you'll see that it's actually creating a hot spot over your head. It's really illuminating those clouds, and then move a mile away from that hot spot, and it's actually getting dark. And it's getting dark and dark and dark. And by 10 miles away, the cloud is pitch black. But phone your friend up who's 10 miles away and say, tell me what the moon is doing for you. And they will say, well, it's created a hot spot above my head, but over where you are, it's dark. It's a local light. We are all, this is the crazy thing, we are all interpreting the sun individually, personally to ourselves. Which is why at sunset, it's going to come to your feet at the beach, and 50 miles or 50 meters down there, someone else is standing at the beach, and look, the sun's coming right to my feet too. That can only work if it can only work that it's an individual experience.
Why is it nighttime now in other countries?
Okay.
It's
Well,
flood. Like, it should be, it's like a desk and a lamp. It shouldn't be like all.
okay, but how big is the desk and how big is the lamp? You know, if it was a Wembley Stadium, football stadium, and it was a lamp, then I might only be able to light up 10 chairs at a time. But if it's bigger,
that
yes.
logic, it's just a different scale. You scale it up. It doesn't come.
So I can scale up Wembley Stadium and say, let me get you one light with 10 million lumens or whatever. And that one light is going to be enough to illuminate just half the stadium at a time. So I'm going to run it around the stadium over every 24 hours. And then while it's overhead, it's midday, and then it goes away. So that's easily done on a flat earth. How I think it actually works is it's a wave, like a sea wave. Think about a wave of energy coming across the earth once a day. And
Wait,
think
so say this is the Earth.
yeah.
Do you believe that the sun and moon they still go like this?
No, probably not. Probably that they're just traveling.
So the sun goes like horizontal.
Yeah, so you know how the plane looks like it's going down, even cruising as it goes past you, right? The plane is cruising overhead. Yeah, and seems to be going to the same as the clouds. They seem to be touching the horizon in the distance, but they're not. You know that they're still a mile above or whatever. Yeah. So that's what we think, is that the energy is moving over your head, and as the energy approaches you, so it's morning. And then as it crests over you, it's the crest of the wave, the peak of the wave at its highest point, the zenith, that's midday. And then it'll slowly tail off and taper off as it goes away from you. But it doesn't mean that it's changed height, just that your perspective, being say in England or America, because in America right now it's morning, and we're getting after a little bit after morning now, and they're west coast, they're just getting into their early morning. But that's because the wave is approaching them.
Right.
And now it's leaving us in the UK, and eventually it gets over to them.
Then it goes back again.
Well,
It's like they should start the other way around.
Yeah, so there's two schools of thought. We don't know exactly. There's two schools of thought in flat earth. One is that if you take the wall map that they had at school, and you pulse once a day, every 24 hours from the rising sunland, Japan, over there, you pulse a new sun, like an ECG monitor, a new blip comes across the earth every 24 days. That's the one way of considering it. On the toroidal system, where it's all electromagnetic, then yes, you've got this twisting energy that is flipping around once a day. And in our summertime in the north, it is making a tighter circle, that it's closer to Cancer. And in the winter time, it's all the way out of Capricorn, and so it's a much further circle round. I'm not saying that either of those are right. Those are two theories about how it works.
Wait, another question. Is the moon and the sun sphere or flat as well?
They look like a disc, but they're spherical, and that you can go around the back of them. I'm not sure about that. But
If they're spherical, then why is the Earth flat?
okay, I get asked that question a lot, but it's like saying because a snooker or a football is spherical, that the pitch must be a ball or flat. Just because a light bulb is round doesn't mean that the floor is a ball. So it might be a round ball. There might be a ball that's round.
Yeah.
But honestly, my observation is only of a disc. And one of the best observations you can make is of the moon. And notice how the moon, that the shadow of the moon is pointing at the sort of 11 o'clock down to the 5 o'clock. Yeah. Yes? Well, if you look at it tonight before you go to bed, guys, you'll notice that it's now turned like this. and that shadow is actually like pointing 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock. 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So it's actually rolling clockwise in the northern hemisphere, and when I'm in the South Africa, for me it's rolling anti-clockwise, and I see the same movement, but anti-clockwise. That's my observation. But that doesn't fit with any of the models that we're given. So this idea that it's turning torus, like we're inside of a big apple, and that there's energy running around it every day through the stars, the sun, the moon, that's what I believe that we're seeing.
Okay.
Food for thought, eh?
Food for thought. Yeah.
Hops on climate change. Is it real? Is it not?
I think the climate does change. I think that we've had major flooding over time. As someone was telling me earlier on, his dad showed him that they recently found a town here in the bay. In other places in the world, I could list them, but there's plenty of places in the world where there's structures and buildings under the water.
Yeah.
So we know for sure that the sea level has changed. Whether it's because of an ice age, but we know we get solar minimums, solar maximums, so we know that climate can and will change. They used to have a market on the Thames River in the 1600s apparently because it got so frozen over they could do carts and whatnot without breaking the ice. You can't do that today. So we know that climate changes. Whether it's us man making the change is the
I
debate.
believe that man
Is making the change.
or
No.
hasn't been given up.
No.
How come?
Because I don't think we are big enough. I think that we
Not
are.
even like burning all the fossil fuels and all that.
Yeah, I think that. So, like I said to people, when I was a kid, when I was a kid, they told us that the sea level is going to be so high by the year 2000 that
Yeah.
cities are going to be underwater.
I know, but we thought in 2023 we'd have flying cars and this and that.
Yeah.
I mean, the
So
Maldives
it was
are
so
kind of
far.
like
So-
disappearing
So,
already.
but it does go to show that the scientists can make predictions that are sometimes really off. I went back to South Africa and swam in the same ocean that I learned to swim in 45 years ago, and the sea level there is exactly the same as when I swam 45 years ago. So I say to people, like I've been, where I travel, I go, it doesn't matter where I am in the world, unless I'm next to a polluting factory, every morning I wake up, the sky is crisp clear. But for 50 years they've been telling us we are polluting this tiny bubble. So I think that because it's a flat earth, it's a self-cleaning system, that it actually cleans itself. I don't recommend spilling oil, but the oil will clean itself.
What?
The oil will clean itself.
How are you going to tell that to a bird?
No, I know that people, well, if you spill the oil, then something is going to possibly die because of that. But give
Something will die, not
it
possibly.
might be 5 years, 15 years, but nature will come back and come back at full strength eventually. So I think that when it comes to the
But I
atmosphere,
think by the time it's changed, it'll be way too late. By the time the animals have adapted and mutated to better themselves in the environment, we'll be way gone by
Thing
then.
you're saying about adaptation and
That takes time. It doesn't
supports-
happen like that.
Yeah, but it also supports the evolution theory.
not really, it's
Adaptation.
speciation.
There's been some animals and plants that are already like adapting to like digesting some sort of plastics. So like
I've seen that. There's
that's
one that can-
literally evolution.
but that doesn't happen. Like,
Yeah,
everyone
it
is
takes
different.
thousands of years, whatever.
Not thousands, because plastics have been around for 100
I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
how long.
so-
I'm not a scientist, but
I don't know.
like from what
I know, I agree with speciation. I think that if the idea that a bird that has a longer beak, that
Yeah,
can
they
feed,
will
that
survive
can feed,
longer.
Yeah,
so
so
their
it's
progeny,
the biggest of survival.
their progeny will go on.
That's what Darwin
longer
said.
speaks.
Theory of
Yeah,
evolution.
that's speciation, which is not enough to say evolution. I will say that. But let me say this to you, hey, because it's CO2, that they're really with the CO2 polluters. But it turns out that trees love CO2, and they feed and thrive on CO2. Yeah, so and they create oxygen in return. So because I don't trust the mainstream agenda. This agenda, by the way, gets me to hate on you. Climate change gets me to hate on you because you are taking flights, you are using plastic, you are doing this, you are doing that, which is why I should then have more rules and controls to say, no, you can't do that anymore. If you want to take a plane, you can take 3 per year, and it's going to cost you twice as much as it used to cost you.
We ordinary people can take blame. The fight is always the big corporations for them polluting Coca-Cola.
Totally, and I'm not for the corporation. I try and encourage people to go back to the land and do what your great-grandparents did, which is to feed from the community around you,
That would be
be on
nice.
space.
Ideal world, yes, that would be nice.
Yeah, to have space and to be in that kind of world and not support these corporations, because the corporations are never going to not make money, no matter what rules they come up with. Oh, sorry, now we're going to have this climate change tax, then we're going to have this plastic tax. They keep making money. I mean, the plastic bags are costing 30p a time now.
But money for what? Like, what's the higher agenda? What's the point?
I guess, I mean, it could be as nefarious as the people who own, not the shareholders. The shareholders are just wealthy people or people who invested a little bit in Tesco's or whatever. That doesn't make them bad. But they do want their dividend and they want their payout. Everybody wants their payout at the end of the year. But I think that the corporations are dead entities that have been given the same rights as you, actually, and that the dead, God says this, you should not be serving the dead, you should be serving the living. And a corpse oration is the speaking dead. Corpse is dead. Oration, speaking. Dead speaking. Yeah, so we are actually giving ourselves over to corpse oration.
Sorry.
We're giving ourselves over to corpse oration and are allowing them to control our future. Did you see what happened in 2020? You know, if the corpse oration says you can't come to the shop without this covering, or you can't have a job without this meal, you couldn't get the services. So it was the corporations, and like YouTube, they can censor me more than the government can. You know, the police had to walk past here, they can't censor me. But YouTube, they can censor me. And they shadow banned my account. They took the last one away because they didn't like what I was saying.
What's your account called?
My account is Trinity 4.
Trinity 4.
Take my fire or something.
Where are we going to be uploaded?
Yes. Well, it's all live right now.
I know, but will it be uploaded on the channel?
Yes.
So that we can.
Yeah, you can go and have a look at it.
But if you don't believe in, well, not to say like you said, not necessarily that you believe man has an effect on climate change. But like, how do you explain why the UK is so hot? Like, we're not naturally a hot country, you know?
Yeah.
How we get to the 30 degrees in these past couple of years? Like, that's not what UK is like. Such high temperatures.
Yeah, I think that there are solar, there are nuances in the climate. Sorry, there are nuances in the climate that we maybe don't understand. So to say that it's all simply down to us. I remember coming here in 1976 to England, and they made a big thing about it because it's so hot that year that cars were sticking to the tarmac. If they were parked in the heat, then the tarmac was melting. It couldn't handle the heat. Yeah. That was back in '76. Okay, that's nearly 40 years ago. So I don't think, you know, that I think that you do get hot spells and you do get cold spells and you get periods of. I mean, there's areas of the world that were once lush and that are now deserts. And that's long before mankind was polluting it. That we've seen these sorts of changes. You know, I mean, Ice Age. If Ice Age was real, I'm not saying it was, but if it was, then we know that the Earth gets super cold and then gets super hot. You know? So I don't. You see, for me, anything that puts the blame, it's like veganism in a way. It puts the blame on you, terrible, dirty meat eaters, right? Well, the same is true with this climate change. Is it puts the blame on anyone who wants to go out and enjoy themselves. You know, mankind must feel guilty. This is what they love to do in religion. Is mankind must feel guilty, a sinner. That's even, you know, atheists are like, oh, you're bad for, you know, having a car or two cars or diesel or you know, going on a flight. You know, people feel guilty for going on a plane, for heaven's sake. Why?
Well, I think that's a very small, you know, like subgenre of climate change. Take it, you know, like maybe it's think rebellion when you're doing such extreme protests, even though it's needed. Because like I think that message in general is just being everyone should just be more conscious of their efforts.
We should love the earth. We should take care of it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but like you should consciously, you know, use less plastics. You know, do you really need to take a taxi to the shop? You could walk it, take 15 more minutes long. So then I think that message in general, that's what people are trying to say. Like they're just trying to encourage more people. Yeah. I mean, did she lie though? Did she lie?
Yeah.
Did she lie?
How you doing?
I'm good. Nathan. Nice to meet
Nathan.
you.
Nice to meet you, Dave.
Is that your website then on there? Yeah. I'll have a look at that. Oh, you gave me one earlier.
Oh, I did.
I've already said I'm with you.
Oh,
but
yeah,
I'm on the planet.
Yeah.
You know.
He's on the plane.
I'm on the plane. Yeah, I'm on the plane. Yeah.
All right, Dave.
What's your name?
I'm Dave.
Nice to meet you.
What's your name? Adonis. Really? Oh, nice Greek name. Cheers, guys. All the best. Adonis.
No, Jim.
Ah, dude.
Listen, I'm trying to teach this little boy.
Dude.
Flat.
Yeah.
Water goes flat. And then he said about, Daddy, he's going against us. And I said, why? He said, the earth is not flat. And I said, no, but look at what he's saying. It's
No
not.
spinning ball.
not a spinning ball, and it's not a flat.
I'm trying to see, because I get a lot. I've been doing this for a few years now, and I get a lot of people say Earth is not flat, and because people's idea of what flat Earth is that it's a disc in space, and you can fall off the edge. That's what everyone says. So I'm trying to catch people out and go, you know, it's a flat plane.
How long have you been doing this?
I've been in the street for 5 years.
5 years. And how have you been thinking along this line? Started sort of about 12, 13 years ago on a conspiracy, whatever you call it, truth, let's call it truth. And the flat Earth one was always, I left it alone. I thought, whoa, it's
too much.
It's too much. And gradually over the last sort of 2-3 years, I've started to like. I used to think the flat Earth was there to discredit all the other stuff.
Yeah.
So if you said flat Earth, then it discredits everything else you're saying. So but it's come on, use your eyes.
It's a gateway. Because then everything that comes to you, you receive it through that gateway. So now I can evaluate something from a really clear sense of how much they're messing with us.
It always makes sense. Oh, look, let's use your senses, your senses.
Yeah.
But
We don't trust it. Lovely to meet you, Nathan. Thanks so much for stopping back. I love it. Cheers. How's that? How's that? You like that? So guys, I've been windy and thinking I can't hear too much. Yeah, I just got facing it. I do apologize for that. Yeah, I've enjoyed it, and I hope you have too. And I want to thank you for your support today. Just hanging in there. It's been a bit windy here, so I do apologize for that. Flat. Got maybe 2 fingers. 2 fingers. Give me 2 birds. Double bird. Oh, it's doing it again. Is that your science? Is that your science, mate? Yeah. But he knows me after. Anyway, that's it. So yeah, if you can support my work, there'll be more to come. And we'll be in a new town on Wednesday. So we'll see where we end up next weekend. Okay. Somewhere I had to get time down. I don't need that. I don't actually probably get rid of that. I retract. It's flat, my friends. I'm spinning low. So yeah, I'm going to need 2 hands to get these banners off because of the amount of wind that I'm going to deal with when they come off. Yeah. So I want to thank you for your attendance today. I'll let these people walk past me. Any last attempt. Hello, ma'am. How are you? Not
You
for you.
could stop me going to die in
Ah, well, good luck, man. All the best. And then when you do go, it's great on the other side. I've had it on good authority. We never die. We're eternal beings. We're eternal. Don't fear death. Don't fear death. Go well.